Sometimes it takes more than a day to get to the truth.
The I-Team spent weeks combing through the case
to uncover what others want to keep hidden.
Are children suffering because of this?
Yes, they are.
True investigative reporting takes time and resources.
For more than a decade now, we've been asking questions.
The News 12 I-Team, getting results, making a difference.
It actually took a news reporter to get them here.
Thank you for trusting us with your stories. News 12, on your side. On air and online, News 12's First Alert Traffic Network is sponsored by Mountaineer Pest Services. Protect your home at StopMyBugs.com. Investigate TV is here.
You almost seem speechless.
Watch Investigate TV from the station that's on your side. This is News 12, First at 5.
Well, free showers, haircuts, and more for those who need it means nothing if those people in need can't get to the resources. Just ahead, how the city of Augusta is helping address this problem. But first, our weather team is tracking some rain and possible severe storms in the CSRA this evening. And with this rain comes slightly cooler temperatures. Let's go now to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hill. And Riley, where are we seeing all this rain at the moment?
Yeah, well, it looks like most of that at least stronger thunderstorm activity is in the PD region of South Carolina, pushing into the Piedmont and North Carolina. So still a little bit of ways from us. You can see a little bit of sunshine actually from our Aiken County weather stem camera here. We have been mostly dry today. Temperatures are hot again. We're at 92 right now in Aiken. It's a little bit humid, so the heat index up to around 95. But we are looking at just a few tiny downpours across the CSRA, but the stronger thunderstorm activity you can see closer to Columbia, Florence, all the way up I-95 into the coastal plain in North Carolina. One storm just popped up over Greenville, Spartanburg area there in the upstate. That's going to continue dropping towards the south and towards the east, and possibly could hold together enough to maybe bring us some wet weather later this evening. But what's in play right now is we have this stalled front on top of the region. This is going to push a little bit further south over the next couple of days, and where our high temperatures actually going down moving forward this week. But this also adds enough lift in our atmosphere to possibly just pop up these tiny little downpours. You can see we had one near the lake just about an hour ago. Didn't really hold together all too well. So I would say if you do see rain this evening, it'll be one of those spots that are just a little bit luckier than your neighbor next door, because I don't think we're going to see anything too widespread. Overall rain chances do look to be below 30% the rest of this evening and tonight, but just can't rule out some of these summer downpours over the next several hours. We'll have much more on another severe weather threat tomorrow coming up in that full forecast, but let's get a quick update on your First Alert traffic.
And now, First Alert traffic.
All right, here's a look at Grovetown, exit 190 here, just looking at Lewiston Road, and dry conditions there in southern Columbia County, and that traffic is already backing up a good bit there off the interstate. And Lewiston Road looks to be congested, but nothing that really looks to be impacting traffic too much. Now, this is the Wheeler Road camera here, so this is between Wheeler Road, Bel Air, looking at I-20 there at the bottom part of your screen. It doesn't look like traffic's moving overly slow there either. Much more on that forecast moving into tomorrow in just about 10 minutes.
All right, thanks, Riley. Free food, a place to get clean, and community resources to help those in need. Today, Project Refresh offered its assistance as well as the city of Augusta. And for the first time, Augusta Transit is offering free rides across the city to locations offering assistance in the city. Our Audrey Dickherber takes a look at how it went and whether the city plans on doing this again.
This morning, over 100 people were able to be helped with immediate needs, such as a shower, some food, and some clothing, all for free. The event started at 9 a.m., but people started lining up at 7. Free transportation was offered to and from the Department of Health from the Master's Table Soup Kitchen, Red Roof Inn off Washington Road, and the Center of Hope. People were able to eat both breakfast and lunch, pick out clothes to take home, take a shower, get a haircut, sign up for free phone service, and more. Organizers say this is a good first step towards solving many issues, and that since it was so successful, they plan on doing it again.
People are hurting. They really are. People are struggling financially, physically, mentally, all of those types of things right now. It's just been really tough. We're coming off of COVID. People are still reeling from that. And I just feel like this is a time when we need to come together as a community and offer all of these services.
Since the need is so great, the goal is to have an event like this once a month or once every other month. Coming up on News 12 at 6, you'll hear how they were able to give back and why they plan on doing more events like this in the future.
All right, thanks for that, Audrey. A rare infection confirmed in Georgia, putting many on edge. Last week, the Georgia Department of Health announced that somebody in the state died from a brain-eating amoeba. Just in the past few hours, Augusta University confirming this deadly case happened here locally. This is the second death in the United States from this infection in just the past week. But as Joshua Skinner explains, this does not mean it's time to panic.
Over the past week here in America, 2 people have died from a freshwater brain-eating amoeba. But despite that, it's still an extremely rare infection that shouldn't keep you out of the water. The first death happened in Nevada, the second here in Georgia.
The last time that we ever had an infection like this in an individual was 21 years ago.
Sherry Drenzik monitors infectious diseases for the state of Georgia. She knows all about the amoeba known as
Naegleria fowleri.
It's a single-cell organism that lives in freshwater ponds, lakes, and rivers, often resting in the sediment. It infects humans by entering the brain through the nose.
Most Naegleria fowleri infections are associated with swimming in warm, fresh bodies of water.
The infection has been found in 22 states, as far west as California and as far north as Minnesota. It is almost always fatal, but that doesn't mean you should avoid kayaking or wading in the water.
It is not found in saltwater. It is not found in oceans.
The risk is below low. There are only 6 confirmed cases in Georgia during the past 60 years, and 160 throughout the entire country. According to the CDC, early symptoms include headache, fever, and nausea, eventually progressing to confusion, seizures, and death.
The most important thing you can do is try to limit the amount of water that gets in your nose.
If you want to take extra precautions, Drenzik says don't dive into the water and avoid places where you might kick up sediment. Otherwise, don't let the small risk ruin your good time.
The risk indeed is extremely low.
And the Georgia Department of Public Health did not specify, and Augusta University only confirmed that the case was local. We are working to uncover where this local victim caught the infection. Flags at the South Carolina State Capitol at half-staff today in honor of a Newberry police officer killed in a crash last week. 48-year-old Lieutenant Michael Wood Jr. died last Wednesday after his patrol car collided with a tractor-trailer while he was on duty. This morning, Wood was honored on Newberry College's campus where he was an alumni. Wood is remembered as dedicated to his community and was awarded the life-saving award from the city of Newberry. A 24-year-old is dead after what's being described as a freak accident in Atlanta. Thomas Milner jumped into Lake Lanier from his family's dock on Thursday and was electrocuted. Police say neighbors took a boat out to try and help. One person even jumped in the water to pull Milner out, but reported feeling a burning sensation which they recognize as an electric shock.
Freak accident. I normally power's grounded, but sometimes there's a loose wire. Doesn't take much, if it's near the voltage, where the voltage comes into the dock, water's kind of, full of electricity.
Milner died from his injuries on Friday, and according to the family, the dock is less than 3 years old, and they used a licensed electrician there. The investigation into how the water became electrified is ongoing. In Atlanta, Fulton County seems to be preparing for the landmark investigation into whether former President Donald Trump intended to influence the 2020 presidential election. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis will decide whether Trump will face charges in the coming weeks. She says her office has been receiving threats and is warning her office to stay alert. The magistrate court in Fulton announcing that it will hold court cases virtually in August. And last week, security barriers that you can see here were put up in front of the courthouse. Willis's decision is expected by September 1st. The summer heat is no joke. In Savannah, at least 20 people suffered heat-related illnesses at a back-to-school event yesterday. Event organizers say the heat index was above 100 degrees and the event was held outdoors. A disaster bus being dispatched to the event as people began falling ill. 10 children had to be seen in the emergency room and 10 adults had to be treated. The CDC has a full breakdown on how to handle the summer heat and to avoid heat-related illnesses. This includes staying cool through clothing and wearing sunscreen, staying hydrated, which means staying away from alcohol and sugary drinks, and stay informed. Know what heat-related illness looks like. Common symptoms include headache, dizziness, confusion, muscle pain, and nausea. A Georgia man who died as a prisoner of war during the Korean War is now identified as a Georgia native, Army Corporal Dewey Ruiz Jr. His remains now in Georgia after more than 70 years, thanks to a project using DNA technology to identify his remains. Ruiz's family say that they are not upset that it took this long to identify his remains. They're just happy that he's back home.
It's never too late to find out about it, and so I would just say that we give people hope that might have loved ones that they don't know what happened to them.
I'm only coordinating here. I am not the story. Dewey's the story.
Ruiz's family is donating his personal items to the local county historical society as a way for the next generation to remember the Korean War. The historical society honored to help preserve Ruiz's memory.
This is really the first time that we've been contacted to honor a soldier that has given his life for our country.
The funeral with full military honors is open to the public on Saturday, August 12th, starting in Homerville and ending with his burial in Eccles County. Georgia teens putting their skills to the test to see if they have what it takes. Just ahead, how their competition bears a striking resemblance to a popular TV show. Riley?
And we're keeping an eye on our First Alert Radar Network for the rest of this evening. Not many storms out there now, but heading into tomorrow, we do have a low severe weather threat. We'll have much more on the full forecast just after the break.
Steady growth in this area is starting to squeeze students together here at this popular school. All new on News 12 at 6 o'clock. We'll be taking a look at 2 new Richmond County schools being built to help take the pressure off of Bel Air K-8 and Richmond Hill K-8.
Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Well, here's a live look from our Beach Island camera. You can see a lot of sunshine out there this afternoon. These cumulus clouds have been fair weather in nature, not really towering or building into a lot of thunderstorms today. We are going to keep the chance for, say, 30% less chance or less for most of the area through this evening into tonight for a quick passing shower storm. It's still very hot, 93 degrees, feeling like close to 100 in a few spots. Now, what we're looking at here, we got a little bit better storm activity between Columbia and Florence, South Carolina. So the PD and Midlands of South Carolina a little bit more active today, but that is pushing out that outflow boundary. That rain cool air is pushing into our area. That could be enough to maybe just pop up a few tiny cells, and that's what we're currently seeing there in Barnwell County. It looks to be right over SRS. Just one tiny shower there just off 125, and I would imagine this is kind of the nature of our rain for the next several hours, is just these tiny little downpours that will pop up over a few locations. Definitely not guaranteeing rainfall for everyone for the rest of tonight. Temperature, or as far as rain chances go, they look to be 30% or less as we head towards midnight and the overnight. So very isolated coverage of rainfall if you are stepping out this evening. As we head into tomorrow, we are going to look at dry weather early into the day, but by lunchtime in the afternoon, we are expecting a little bit better opportunity to see some scattered storms around. And any storm that does pop up tomorrow just has that low chance of briefly turning severe. So I want to make sure you are staying weather aware as well for tomorrow afternoon. Now by Wednesday, those rain chances do drop off a lot. We're not expecting much rain Wednesday. It's going to be less humid, and we're going to see temperatures below average. So that is something to look forward to a little bit later into the week. Before we get to Wednesday, though, we're going to have to watch out for these storms heading our way for Tuesday. And there is going to be a low-end marginal risk for Tuesday afternoon as those storms do pop up. And even for the rest of this evening, for areas east of Augusta, there is a marginal risk. So say for the next 24, 36 hours, any storm that gets close to you just briefly could produce a strong wind gust or two. So if you just make sure you're keeping an eye to the sky. Here's the way it's looking on our futurecast model here. So hour by hour as we head towards sunset, there's those storms that are closer towards Columbia, maybe enough to just pop up a shower storm for some spots in the CS rate as we get towards sunset. Most of the overnight will remain dry heading into tomorrow morning. Temperature is going to stay most likely low to mid 70s by daybreak Tuesday. Our model here does want to favor maybe an isolated shower across the area before we do get to the lunch hour. But expecting the coverage of rainfall to definitely increase by lunchtime. This is 1 p.m. You can see we have a few showers and storms around, and then that will gradually just kind of build in coverage as we head later into the afternoon. And the model here is definitely favoring some stronger storms. You can see some pink showing up with some of these cells. So definitely enough to produce some very heavy rain, a lot of cloudy ground lightning, and as well as that strong wind threat. The Green Jackets are back in town tomorrow. We got First Responder 2 Tuesday. First pitch at 7:05. Right around first pitch, there could be some storms around, but that storm threat will decrease as we head later into our Tuesday evening. Remember, really nice weather expected by the middle of the week. High temp of only 89 Wednesday, lower humidity, getting those mornings back down into the 60s. But unfortunately, those rain chances increase again towards the end of the week.
All right, thanks, Riley. The future is now for kids who want to be their own bosses. That sounds pretty nice. But in Atlanta, a group of kids hoping to become the city's newest entrepreneurs presented their business plans. It's like Shark Tank, but for kids. As Sawyer Butsy reports, thousands of dollars are on the line.
If you think contestants on Shark Tank are impressive,
I've been practicing, I've been paying attention when the speakers have been talking all week.
you would love watching these kids do their thing.
After that, later down the line, I created my kids vitamin that has vitamins A, B, C, and D. We want to encourage and empower girls by teaching them the proper education for their period. We are reinforcing proper education, period.
These 9 entrepreneurs are trying to prove their business worthy of thousands of dollars in grant money.
These kids are inside right now, pitching their hearts out. What they don't know is that they're all walking away winners.
Actually, what the kids believe is that they're pitching for $5,000 in grants. And so they believe there's going to be one winner. So everyone is going to get a $2,500 check, and then we have a grand prize winner that's going to get $5,000.
They've been working all week, listening to speakers in the community, working with mentors, and getting ready for their pitch in front of the judges.
My first product, my book, Lemons to Lemonade, that talks about how I changed a negative situation into a positive one.
This is all the work of Youth Mean Business, a new organization created to jumpstart young entrepreneurs by providing mentors, connections, and yes, capital.
It's more than just, putting our words. We have to put the money behind our words.
There are a lot of programs for kids to encourage them to start businesses, and a lot of kids do want to do that. But once they start, they're kind of on their own. Our goal is to help bridge that gap.
In Atlanta, Sawyer Butsy, Atlanta News First.
And keep in mind, these students are all ages 11 through 17, so what they're doing now is pretty incredible. Imagine what they'll be able to accomplish later in life. Cool stuff there. Well, who doesn't love having a new car? But new cars these days may be more problematic than you may think. We explain coming up after the break.
First Alert Radar. Do it right. Rely on Ramjet.
Well, buying a brand new car can be a real treat for some consumers, but new cars are supposed to offer a peace of mind when it comes to mechanical issues or other problems. But new cars these days may be more problematic than you think. Here's Gary Harper.
Well, who doesn't like getting a brand new car? It comes with that new car warranty, and of course it has that new car smell. Everybody likes that. But a new report just released by J.D. Power says they're finding a significant number of complaints when it comes to new cars.
J.D. Power surveyed consumers about everything from drivetrain issues and safety features to phone chargers and entertainment systems. And for 2 years running, they say that reported issues have grown significantly.
We're at the most problematic that we've ever been for new vehicle quality.
Kristen Collage is with J.D. Power and tells On Your Side that many of the complaints are about basic parts of the car that have gotten more complex, like door handles, for example. Some automakers are making them flush with the door.
Ergonomically, it's not working very well, right? It's not the right purchase position for someone's hand. It's tricky for kids to be able to utilize or passengers that aren't familiar with the vehicle.
And auto manufacturers are trying to make cell phone usage inside your car safer and easier, but that's also causing some issues. The biggest growth in complaints is about wireless phone charging in the car, and drivers are pretty unhappy with some safety features like the system that warns you if you're drifting out of a lane.
For the ones that have more of that beeping and chiming and are more on that conservative nature, those are the ones that are becoming more problematic, and then we're seeing in certain instances customers turning those features off.
Overall, J.D. Power found an average of 192 problems for every 100 cars, and the biggest offenders, electric automakers. Tesla had 257 problems for every 100 cars. Polestar had 313.
And this is the manufacturers in certain cases innovating, and that level of innovation and what's being presented is posing new problems. It's posing new ergonomic challenges. It's more, less familiar to the user.
The best brand overall, Dodge. It only had 140 problems per 100 vehicles. And the best premium brand may surprise you. Alfa Romeo hasn't always had the best reputation, but it only had 143 problems, much better than brands like Cadillac, BMW, or Mercedes-Benz.
According to JD Power, car manufacturers are coming up with a lot more features that consumers seem to really be liking, but at this point, there's some bugs that need to be worked out. I'm Gary Harper.
Tomorrow, a judge will decide whether a woman facing charges related to a deadly crash on Folly Beach will stay behind bars ahead of her trial. Jamie Komorowski's bond hearing is set for August 1st. She faces several charges, including felony DUI and reckless homicide for the deadly crash that killed newlywed Samantha Miller back in April. Komorowski's lawyers claim that she is not a flight risk and is no danger to the public. They also state that she struggles with alcohol dependence and would enter rehab if she's released on bond. Riley?
Well, we do have the chance for scattered thunderstorms Tuesday. We'll see some relief from the rainfall Wednesday before rain chances pick up again late into the week. I'm going to look at that 7-day forecast next.
On Route 29 490. Hey, get that new car going vacation. Check them out online, jeepcheap.com.
All right, mostly dry look outside of our studios here, I-20 Riverwatch Parkway. We haven't seen much rainfall today, and overall our rain chances look to remain pretty slim for us here in Augusta as we head into this evening. Temperatures are hot. We're 93, feeling like 98, and you can see there was a lot of blue sky behind me. There's not really much rainfall popping up for the CSRA outside of these tiny little downpours over Barnwell County. We are looking at these storms near Columbia that's pushing outflow towards us, so maybe enough to spark up an isolated shower storm the rest of the tonight. Now, as we head into tomorrow, we are expecting a little bit better opportunity for scattered storms. And remember, those storms tomorrow could briefly turn severe.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have much more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break as News 12 Live at 5 continues.